guys, and welcome back to another Bless Unleashed thingamabobber hoo-ha. This time, I am running Gideon with the Zerberker, or the Berserker. If you guys have been watching any of my content, you guys know that I am dreading this battle, and I'm actually coming in with a lot of potions. And I'm gonna run a Panacea of Destruction and an Elixir of Destruction 3, so those should really help me out a lot, I'm hoping. However, I am running a Axe of Forgotten, which I have been told is actually one of the better axes for the Zerk. I have a Raider's Totem +2. Guard of the Protector, Body Armor of the Protector, Executioner's Greaves, Boots of the Gatekeeper, Executioner's Gauntlets, Shoulder Armor of the Gatekeeper, and Belt of the Protector with a Horde Ring. So this is actually gear that Agony, who is my resident Berserker main and knowledgeable man, he said that this is probably one of the better builds until you start heading towards A grade gear for the Berserker. So we'll see how well it performs. I'm probably gonna play this a lot like I did with the Crusader. In regards to just spending a lot of time doing that thing that I jumping in one attack or two attacks and then jumping out. And something to note, the other Gideon battles were pre-nerf on Gideon. This is now post-nerf on Gideon, so he has 12%, I think, don't quote me on that, but he has less health. So that is something to keep in mind as well. I'm gonna go ahead and burn this elixir and this panacea. Hopefully I beat it first try, because I have a lot of damage. So future me shall now take it over. Wow, he has so much less health. He only has 975k health. He had like 2 million before. 2.3 million. Or I think it was more than 12% then. Anyway, future me, take it away.
You know, one of these days, I'm gonna have to go back to past me and just smack him upside the head, always making me do extra stuff. But nah, you know, whatever, don't matter. So, this battle, I actually managed to beat first try, but I played it pretty close to the vest, pretty careful. I don't even think I used that many potions, believe it or not. I used a lot of my lower end potions, but one of the things that I did not do, I did not use my light attacks at all. And there's a bunch of people, I've said this before, they're like, oh King, your right bumper is in the light attack and right trigger is heavy attack. That's pretty much what they made it. Alright, that's the baseline for what everything always is. The attacks that give you the most combos will give you, or your quote-unquote light attacks, when your heavy attacks are one combo chain, which is what the right trigger is. Sometimes there's like a separate combo chain, but otherwise it's light and heavy attacks. So yeah, I used my right trigger constantly. I only used the leap ability. And even with the 12% buff, which I put in showing what the actual health was prior to the patch, the 200k health really didn't change much, considering the fact that I was not doing a lot of damage. The animations were just very slow, and it was hard to get myself into a proper position to be able to do the damage that I needed to do. So 90% now, I wouldn't say 90, probably about 70% of my damage came from leap attacks. My gear definitely played a major role in this because, you know, I had the ability to, you know, get in and out. A lot of the times whenever he would do the staff pound, I actually dodged away and then jumped in on him if I was trying to do an attack. And I don't believe there was really any time where I, like, was, oh crap, I'm gonna die. But there were times when I didn't get his ideal attack for the staff pound, and I was usually able to dodge them. One big thing that I noticed, there is a pattern to his attacks, and believe it or not, there's actually a pattern to his teleporting as well. Um, every roughly, depending on how much he teleports, if you pay attention, my leap attack actually recharges about when he does his attack every single time, the staff pound attack, which I thought was interesting. I noticed it and I was actually purposely paying attention to it. And then his teleports, if he teleports, like, I guess backwards, or, you know, in a very small distance where it's not from in front of you to, like, behind you, usually he's gonna do his staff pound attack. I think there was maybe once or twice when he didn't, but then the staff pound came right after whatever attack he did first. And then if he teleports, like if he's on your right and then teleports over to your left, usually he will end up doing staff pound as well if it's there. So that actually really helped me out a lot. I knew what to expect and when. There were times where I tried to get a little greedy with my attack, seeing what I could maybe try to push the envelope with, but overall I was not able to push very much, and it was a little disappointing how much damage I couldn't do, but I was very happy with the ability to jump in and do that damage. So, I mean, I guess that kind of counterbalances it. I don't really have that much more to say. The battle just took so long. Even with the 12% nerf, my gear score roughly the same as every other character. Weapons and, you know, gear roughly sitting at the same level. It still took an unbelievable amount of time, and I was not a big fan of it. One thing to note is when he does his balls on the ground, you can only get one slash in. If he does the laser teardrop, you can usually get the slash and the shoulder charge in. And then, you know, there's gonna be times where he's gonna, you know, do a lot of the laser teardrops, and you're gonna be able to get a pretty decent amount of damage in. But, you know, don't get greedy with your attacks by any means. I say it all the time, but definitely don't get greedy. But otherwise, because I know the mechanics of the fight so well by now, this is the 4th character that I've ran it with, and, you know, the ranger took me probably a good 3 hours to learn the mechanics, and that was the first time I fought him. And then coming back and doing the Crusader, I think I got him on my 4th try. After remembering his mechanics and remembering everything that I needed to do. And then the Mage and Berserker and even the Priest I did first try. It's just a very long battle. You have to have patience. That is the #1 key in this battle, is patience. If you go and try to get greedy, you're gonna die. But yeah, that's about it. Don't, you know, miss your skill checks at 81 and 61%, and otherwise you're pretty much good to go. There's not much else that you have to really worry about. Um, if you're coming in on the berserker, I actually saw someone say like they were able to down Gideon in a solid like 5 minutes with a berserker. There's no way. Your animations are too slow. And like I don't even think a ranger or a mage or anyone who has we'll say mage. Say you got a really like heavily crit mage that's super overpowered. There's no way that you're gonna take Gideon down in a fast manner. I would say if you came in here with a 1200 tier score mage, did all crit damage equipment, and then ended up doing your 100% crit buff and dropping a meteor on him, you would still probably only do, I don't know, maybe at most 70k damage, and your fireballs would probably do at most 10k damage, so you're looking maybe a 10 to 15 minute fight if you're super overpowered, and that's dodge fighting. If you can build your melee classes, which I've never seen a tanky Zerk, but if you can get your Crusader so that it's tanky and does a lot of crit damage and get lucky, maybe you could do it in about 10 minutes. But the melee classes definitely take the longest. So here you go, back to me.
Okay. Alright, so I did manage to beat it first try. Obviously you guys saw it sped up, but that was as slow as whenever I had, you know, so much more health that I had to go through without having to worry about, well, I mean I had to worry, but like it took as long as the ranger, the mage, and the crusader all did, all of whom had the non-buffed Gideon or non-nerfed Gideon to fight, which kind of solidifies my point that the berserker really does not have the DPS that people say that it does. Um, it was possible. You know, my gear and my gear score is roughly about the same. Obviously, at this point, I've memorized Gideon and all of his move sets and everything to the point that I could probably do it without looking at half of the stuff. Um, but
Kill the sorcerer before the door is open.
Foolish mortals! You think you've thwarted my plans?
just get off my screen, Gideon. Oh, that was crazy difficult to try to do. I'm glad that Gideon got nerfed when he did, because otherwise I probably would not have been able to beat him, or it would have taken me an hour. That was over a half an hour recording as is, so that would have probably taken me an hour with the amount of health and stuff like that he did have at one point. So yeah, that's gonna do it for Mr. Berserker here. I mean, we did it. I managed to beat Gideon with my most hated class. So thank you all for watching. I hope this helped out other berserkers struggling on Gideon. One of the biggest things that I did was I didn't use the right bumper at all. The light attacks are too slow. The heavy attacks, while they don't do quite a bit of damage, and they're at least quick, so I was able to get 2 swings off versus just doing 1 swing and then running. And I did my best to avoid being animation locked. The only ability that I used was leap, without Leap, I don't think Gideon would be possible with a Berserker. I made some mistakes. I got greedy at some points. One of the biggest issues with using Leap is you have to be careful. Sometimes you'll kind of like get caught in them, and every time you try to get out of being caught in him, it'll like kind of try to suck you back in, and it's weird. So that's gonna do it for this video for Bless Unleashed. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Subscribe, ring the bell. I upload videos every single day for a plethora of games, so definitely want to keep an eye out. I got some cool bangers coming out here soon, so thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you guys next time. Bye, guys!